The finale opens with moon demons laughing and taunting Casper and Nova. They're in possession of the crown and they refuse to hand it to them. Casper and Nova cast a spell on them using their magical staff. Just then, the moon demon king shows up saying that he's going to an undisclosed third location. Nova suggests summoning a sun ship that could chase him, but Casper wants to check the launch pad for clues about where he's headed. The scene then shifts to Simon and Beth watching these events from the book and deciding between Casper and Nova's ideas. Simon is frustrated and thinks that the book cheats. Scarab faces Fionna, Cake, and Co. and reprimands them regarding the worlds they visited and the people they infected. He says that their trip must have shown them the truth, so it would be better for everyone if they were just gone. Cake turns big, grabs the scarab's crystal, and readies herself to zap him. She then turns into a chicken and lays her eggs containing the scarab's crystal. First, she launches the baby, who is mad at Scarab for putting him in an egg because he spent his time playing games in his PC. Cake keeps laying other eggs, which all burst, revealing characters wanting to settle their scores with Scarab. An angry Scarab starts chasing Fionna and Cake, who flee. Fionna stumbles and Scarab catches up with her. Luckily, Hunter comes to the rescue, and he, Gary, and Marshall Lee try to hold him down but can't. The Scarab retrieves his crystal and starts ripping their world out piece by piece. Cake stretches and becomes huge. She then sends Scarab flying into the wall. Simon in Shermie's body and Beth reach the final chapter titled The Cosmic Gate. Casper and Nova found the crown, and Simon and Beth must choose between two options. The first one entails that Nova will hold the gate open long enough for Casper to grab the crown, but she'll be crushed. And the second option means that Casper drinks a potion that will give him the strength to force the gate, but it will also cause him to forget Nova forever. Simon doesn't want either those things to happen. Beth blames him for picking Casper's options every time. She explains that Nova was obsessed with Casper. They were in love, but it wasn't on equal footing. Just then, Simon realizes that Casper could have been more thoughtful and could have noticed that Nova was sacrificing a lot. As he says that, he leaves Shermie's body. Cake is beaten up and crushing the Scarab with her giant fists, but then Scarab gets the upper hand and knocks her out. Gary tries to stop him by throwing his cakes at him. Marshall Lee then starts playing the guitar to stop Scarab with music. He plays him a song inspired by his love for Gary. Scarab is disgusted and Gary is moved. Scarab then kicks them away and gets mad and unleashes his attacks on their world. Fionna cries, screaming that she wants this world. Simon returns and apologizes to Betty for standing by and allowing her to sacrifice herself for him. He remembers that day at the bus stop and regrets not supporting her. He then sees the missed call from Fionna and calls her back. He learns that the Scarab invaded her world and readies himself to put on the crown, but Fionna urges him not to, as she doesn't want anything to change. She decided that this is the world she wants to fight for, and she won't give up. She assures Simon that if they die, they'll die together as themselves. She then hangs up. Simon screams in frustration and throws away the crown. He tells Betty that he didn't ask for this responsibility and starts coughing. Fionna's world comes out of his mouth. Cake is weak and Fionna is worried about her. Fionna then gets a call from Simon, who gives her Fionna's world through a portal from his head and assures her that she'll do fine. Cake wonders if they should eat it, but Fionna stands on a truck, says I wish, and blows at it. A bright light emanates from it. Gull Betty grabs Simon and blows him away. He steps on rocks as he attempts to return to Oo. Prismo manages to break free and checks on Fionna and Cake's world. He's astonished to discover that their world is legit now. He then protects Fionna and Cake. Just when Scarab is about to finish them off, Prismo then proceeds to undo everything that Scarab did. Scarab realizes that Fionna and Cake's universe has been canonized. He gets a call from his boss, but Scarab laments the fact that it's not fair as he did everything right. Cake is excited as she tells Fionna and Co that they won and she hugs them. Fionna tries to comfort Scarab, but he's still furious and vows to tear down Prismo's sandcastle. Fionna screams in shock when she sees his angry face. He then proceeds to wreck her town. Fortunately, Baby Finn, Little Destiny, Squirrel, and Bonnie Belle's peppermint tank show up. They were brought by Prismo. Fionna eats the squirrel's strawberries and becomes huge. She then proceeds to stomp the Scarab. Cake turns into a hammer, and together they deal a lot of damage to him. Hunter then takes the Scarab's crystal and sends it to Cake, who uses it to trap Scarab in an egg. The fight is over. Jay and Little Destiny ask Fionna if they can stay in their universe instead of returning to Farm World. Fionna and her friends rebuild the city. Fionna joins Marshall Lee in protesting the rising rent costs by his mom. Simon spends his time with Jake's son TV. He also shares his stories about Casper and Nova with Astrid. Gary sets up his own baked goods truck. Simon keeps in touch with Fionna thanks to their multiversal phone line. Prismo put in a good word for Scarab with Orbo, so Scarab is now working under Prismo to pay his dues. Prismo then offers to show Scarab how to use his character creation program. However, Prismo has a light glitch, turning his face upside down before he brings his computer. In his apartment, Simon has a therapy session with a Minerva bot. He tells her that his experience with Fionna and Cake helped him realize that his life is worthwhile. He's also thinking of moving. He's tired of being observed by the futuristic humans. Fionna and Hunter are close. She comments how glad she is now that they're living in a normal world before the tank passes by with Baby Finn riding its turret.